the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
Shortly after President Trump took the oath of office, a popular app used by migrants seeking asylum was gone.
Folks who are completely distraught finding out that their appointments are now canceled.
It was one of the very first consequences of Donald Trump's return to power. On the 20th of January 2025, right in the middle of the inauguration ceremony, the CBP One app suddenly stopped working. Now, it had enabled migrants to enter the United States legally to submit their asylum applications. With its disappearance, the American dream for hundreds of thousands of people had evaporated in a second. If there's one city that really epitomizes the full impact of the tightening of US immigration policy, it is Tijuana, the main crossing point with Mexico. The border city has effectively become a dead end. In addition to migrants stopped in their tracks, others have been sent back by the US authorities, often people also without legal status in Mexico either. Tijuana left being one of the most dangerous cities in the world, but also a city of intense solidarity. While Laurence, Cuvillier and Matthieu Comin revisit Tijuana for France 24.
Sí, uno para que me asista, que me pase los materiales.
Infected wounds, gangrene, malnutrition, infectious diseases. This is what Mark treats on the streets of Tijuana every day.
Condones no trajimos. Condones, ¿quién está pidiendo condones? Condones no traigo, pa. Gracias, pa, por el intercambio, Arre, ganito. Arre.
This street in central Tijuana is where societies marginalized end up. Deportees driven out of the United States. Migrants who've lost all hope of ever making it across the border.
Call me wherever, okay?
Oh, gracias.
Okay. Be careful.
Many here spent most of their lives in the U.S. Others have just come out of U.S. prisons. Some were deported gang members. Many already arrived struggling with addiction.
Mark set up this group of enfermeros tácticos, tactical nurses, so the most vulnerable aren't abandoned.
Como pueden ver, esto no es un juego. Ya vieron ahorita cómo está el show ahí donde estábamos.
We're here in El Bordo, the open sewage channel that cuts through the city. Until recently, it was home to hundreds of homeless people.
Logramos sacar a todas las personas de aquí. Se les dieron tres opciones. Te vas para tu rancho, te metes a Corsa, o te vas para la cárcel porque ya no puedes estar aquí.
Every time they head out, Mark tries to motivate the volunteers for the different work they have ahead.
Entonces, ¿cuál es la importancia de que ustedes estén aquí? Algún día vas a ser una abogada y te va a tocar defender uno de estos culeros. Algún día vas a ser una psicóloga y a lo mejor programas menores pueden ser sus primeros pacientes.
A former soldier.
Eso. Romper, firmes, ya. Romper la formación, ya.
But also a former drug dealer and addict.
Listo, colegas.
Mark knows how to reach people here.
Alguna va a tener que ir al hospital, apa. A huevo va a tener que ir al hospital. Es que mira, pa, si te quedas aquí, te va a agarrar el dolor más fuerte, tú no te puedes parar y la ambulancia te va a querer llevar, pues ya me la sé yo con estos culeros. Ya llegué hace como 6 años, 7 años aquí. O sea, aquí me pienso. Sí. Camarógrafos, poquito nomás. No, espérenme un poquito más y ya yo regreso.
We're being watched. In Tijuana, criminal groups are active, and they don't like attention.
Around here, there's a drug dealer on almost every corner, but we just do our job. We don't ask who's dealing or who they're working for.
Listo, pues así unos minutos y ahorita regreso a quitártelas. ¿Sale?
In another part of the city, other migrants have come to this shelter seeking help. Here they're cared for by midwives and naturopaths.
Here we welcome migrants, refugees, people in exile, deportees, and repatriated migrants from the United States. Many of them have no access to healthcare, either because they have no papers, or because everything they owned was stolen from them, or because they were deported so quickly they had no chance to process their documents.
la posibilidad de tramitar sus documentos.
Migration through Tijuana has collapsed since Donald Trump's return to power. Still, some have chosen to stay, hoping the doors to the United States will one day reopen.
Half of my children are there, and the other half are here with me. I'm still hoping my residency situation gets sorted out so I can go there one day.
Muy bien. Si acaso le ves moquito, es más arriba en su nariz, pero abajo en sus pulmones, en sus bronquios, todo está muy bien.
Montserrat is 19. She arrived here pregnant after fleeing gang threats, only to find herself at a dead end.
I want to go to the United States. By paying someone to help me. But I haven't started any paperwork. I haven't tried to cross either. Right now, it's just impossible.
Many children are born as a result of sexual abuse during the journey. Other times, people fall in love with other people en route and end up building a family here.
The crossing is now almost impossible. According to US authorities, the number of migrants caught trying to cross the border fell by 88% last year. It's another day on the streets for the tactical nurses. Preparations are meticulous before heading into neighborhoods where even ambulances sometimes refuse to go.
It's to take some patients in. The police can't transport people who are having psychotic episodes, so we take them ourselves.
Today, Mark is accompanied by Jesus, his right-hand man, who he trained in basic first aid after his release from prison.
I came here to study, but I fell in with the wrong crowd. Friends who pushed me to try drugs, and after that, everything fell apart.
Helping others. For them, that's the best therapy to get through difficult times.
I spent 6 years in prison. I got clean. Prison became my rehab center. After 2 years, they let me work in the prison hospital because I already knew how to administer injections. I learned that in the army, and they ended up giving me a job there as a nurse.
¿Cuándo no te curas? ¿Desde la mañana? Ok, le voy a tener que comprar una dosis de droga, porque no traigo alprazolam, no traigo clonazepam. Entonces, a lo mejor si le meto una madre, esta se va a poder levantar y caminarle. Luz.
In the grip of severe withdrawal symptoms, the man's condition is critical.
¿Una cura chiva? ¿Fentanilo? Ay, rico, pero ¿cómo lo pido, güey?
5 years ago, the work of the tactical nurses became even harder when fentanyl, the powerful opioid trafficked by Mexican cartels, began flooding the streets of Tijuana.
Fui a comprar una dosis y contraté a alguien para que venga y se la ponga. Así no me meto en problemas yo por si se muere de sobredosis, cualquier cosa. Papá, ¿me hace el paro de ser doctor? Aquí del carnal, mira. Ahí está, mira. Carnito, ¿ya te la van a poner, papá, Papá, ¿y qué piensas hacer ahorita que te cures? ¿Te quieres anexar o te vas a quedar aquí? Vámonos a un lugar, papá, por de perdida, mira. Si te vas a ir, viejón, no te vas a ir aquí en la calle, carnal. Sí. Ya te cayó, güey, espérate, ya te cayó. Espérate, le agarra, aquí está. Aquí está, mira. Hazte presión ya no te limpies, nomás hazte presión. No te frotes porque...
Ambulances sometimes refuse to take patients who may be carrying infectious diseases. Nurses are left powerless with no funding beyond a trickle of private donations. And too often, frustration is the only thing these nights bring.
And now, I don't know. Maybe he won't make it through the night. To get him off the streets, I'd need at least 2,000 pesos. That's 100 euros for a center to take him in.
But giving up is not an option for Mark.
I've been through 15 rehab centers. I was beaten, underfed, locked up. I could have ended up like this. If fentanyl had been around back then, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you today.
For those turned away by the ambulances, the tactical nurses have only one place left to take them. At the end of rough dirt roads is a place ironically known as El Castillo, the castle.
Y pues solo voy a echarle ganas, esperaré, trataré de seguir, ¿verdad? Limpio.
Here, there's no support from authorities. No psychiatrists, and former patients act as supervisors. Rooms without electricity, it's a makeshift system where 120 addicts are trying to get back on their feet.
On those mattresses at the back, we've already taken 3 or 4 people there so they can die with dignity.
Sergio has been here for a year. Mark and Jesus brought him here by force after finding him distraught on some wasteland, completely lost. He'd been beaten up by a gang.
I just want to be someone normal again, be valued, treated like a real person.
¿Eres tóxico o algo? ¿Te da tóxico?
No.
¿No? Nada? ¿Ninguna pastilla?
No.
We got limited resources. There are no doctors. We can't give them proper treatment or any real long-term care.
My family was contacted. They said they'd come and see me, that they'd get me out of here. Lots of people here are alone. Nobody visits them.
When they arrive, patients are locked inside an isolation room, where they go through the worst stages of withdrawal.
¿Cómo estás, papá? ¿Dónde vienes?
Más o menos, del Bordo.
¿Del Bordo?
Sí.
¿Cuánto tiempo llevas aquí?
6 días.
6 días. ¿Cómo está la malilla?
Machín.
Machín. ¿Qué consumías?
Fentanilo y cristal.
Pues sabes que es un sacrificio estar aquí. Estás en un buen lugar, pero pues sabes que hay que perrearla aquí por el frío. Sí. Hay que echarle ganas y...
Juan Ramon had spent most of his life in the United States. He was deported 9 years ago for drink driving.
Yo perdí todo, perdí... En 8 años ya tenía yo mi carro, mi esposa, mis hijos, y lo volví a perder todo. Yo todo lo que quisiera es algo dulce.
¿Dulce?
Sí.
Y, pa, no traigo dulces. Ahorita pregunto si hay dulces y te traigo un dulce, ¿va?
Sí.
Lives hanging by a thread. El Castillo is the last refuge for those stranded at the border.
Ya está más grandote. Ay, él sabe que yo también no.
In another shelter, it's the end of a long migrant journey and the beginning of a new life for Chelly, with Jimena at her side.
I told my husband I'd like the baby to be born with midwives like you. I don't want to be surrounded by doctors. I want caring people to welcome the baby into the world.
It was along the difficult journey from El Salvador that Chelly met the father of her future child, another migrant from Honduras. Together, they let go of their dream of a life in the United States.
I'd like to become a Mexican citizen. Honestly, I feel at home here. Of course, this country has its problems, but here I feel safe. I tell my husband, our baby will have Honduran blood and Salvadoran blood, but he'll be Mexican.
Before, this wall was much lower. Sometimes parts of it collapsed, and they've rebuilt it. They made it higher and higher. We humans are absurd. We want to divide the sea in two, strengthen borders, when everything can collapse in an instant. But there are dreams on this side too. Beautiful things are being created here. That's Tijuana.
10 years ago, witnessing the mass arrival of migrants inspired Jimena to begin helping pregnant women and young mothers free of charge. Since then, she has built a network of midwives along the migration route and helped women from more than 150 nationalities.
For me, supporting young mothers from around the world is the first step towards social justice. Giving a child the chance to come into the world safely, gently, and surrounded by love.
Being born in peace or dying with dignity. A combat Mark faces out on the streets. He's looking for the man who'd been going through withdrawal symptoms the previous night.
Ya no está el camarada.
posiblemente ya falleció.
He asks other homeless people if they've seen him.
Carnal.
Against all odds, we find him alive and safe.
¿Cómo te sientes, carnal?
Ya bien,
Sí. Mira qué bien. Te sirvió la inyección, ¿verdad? Pensamos que nos íbamos a ir, que nos te ibas a ir, güey.
Y la verdad que sabes que sí quería ir a donde sea. Dije, sabes que me lleven, ahorita me siento bien, dije a donde sea, pero lo que me dolía era que iba a dejar a mi gatita, la que quiero mucho. Es por eso que también no me voy, porque la gatita, ¿me entiendes?
La gatita blanca, ¿va?
Sí, ese animalito está bien empeñado en mí. El otro vez me puse malo. Y sabes qué, no te miento. Me trajo una rata y me la decapitó y ahí me la dejó.
¿El gato? Para que
me la comiera.
Quisiera hacer más, pero pues
no, está bien.
No quieres.
Está bien, no te preocupes.
Pero de todos modos, cuando usted se sienta mal y écheme grito, está que estamos a la orden.
Mark remains convinced that this man will soon accept treatment. From his own experience, he knows that nothing's impossible on the streets of Tijuana.